We call the meeting to order. Can we please stand to salute the flag? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just so everybody's aware, the meeting is being videotaped by cable TV and also by a private entity. We have one action discussion item on the agenda, and that is the discussion and the appointment of a town manager. We have four finalists: William DeLibrio, Richard LaFond, Grady Miller, and O. Paul Shue. We had our interviews last Saturday. They all impressed me. It's certainly going to be a difficult decision. Does anybody have anything they'd like to say to start off, or anybody want to make a motion for nominations, or what's the pleasure? Tom?
Yeah, whatever.
Go ahead, Tom.
Well, no, I just like to say that I think that there's a good slate of candidates that the search committee arrived at. You know, I think that, Mr. Bill Libero, I thought he offered, some good skills to the town. In particular, I think he has pretty good background in environmental, and I think especially with some of the issues we do face, I think he'd be a good candidate. Grady Miller, to me, I think was a very good candidate. I made some notes. He believes in a continuous improvement process. Roads in Narragansett, where he lived or where he managed, he put together a plan to improve those. He mentioned that he's very sensitive to citizens' tax bills. I think that's important to people in this community. He also stressed how it was important to keep his council informed. The other two things that were of particular interest to me were just believes in a performance evaluation system and also customer satisfaction surveys, which I think would help this board. So to me, he stood out, but also Rick LaFond, who's the town administrator in Carver. I think he also was a very good candidate. Things that impressed me, he seemed to develop a model relationship with the school department. Seems to know pretty well the budgeting process, as being a town administrator for 17 years. Seemed to have good communication between the boards and community members. And I think the other thing that was a plus for Rick is he has some experience in Abington. So I think it was a pretty good list of candidates that we saw, and those are just my opening comments.
Okay. Anybody else? Kevin?
I think in my mind, I boiled it down after the interviews to two candidates, Grady Miller and Rick LaFond. Looking at it on the basis of, and I did some research, I talked to some department heads in both communities, and came away with the idea that while Grady Miller obviously has some very good attributes, my only concern in that regard is that he doesn't have Massachusetts experience, and I can tell you from experience that in Massachusetts labor law is like none other in the country. And coupled with the fact of we have open town meeting. With that said, looking at Richard LaFond's experience, the fact that he has been in one place for 16 years, which I think shows stability, the fact that he has worked very well with the school departments. He has municipal labor experience in Massachusetts and has, the attributes in terms of dealing with Massachusetts issues in my mind, and I'll be voting for Richard LaFond, on that basis. I believe that because of that type of experience, and especially with the Massachusetts labor experience, that in my mind gave him the leg up, so to speak.
Anybody else? Ken?
Through this whole process, I've been involved from the beginning as on the search committee. It was very interesting, and things actually went fairly smoothly, but through the whole process, I agree with Kevin, the two candidates have kind of, made their way to the top, and I agree that Grady Miller and Richard LaFawn seem to be the candidates that impressed me the most through the whole process. And one thing that I want to add is that we did see comments from citizens through emails after the meet and greet and through solicitation here at the meetings. And I know I only received 3 comments, but they were all for the same person, so that's why I'm going to go for Miller when the time comes.
Mike, do you have
I just, well, number one, there was good and bad on this whole process. The good part was that the search committee produced 4 very qualified candidates. And the bad part was it made it very difficult making this decision, that they were that good. I appreciate the board extending a few days, so I was able to watch these interviews on TV, and I was able to talk to some citizens and some department heads. I'm not going to say right yet, I did come down with the same two people. And I've settled in my mind. In my mind, it's the right decision that I'm going to make. And I do appreciate immensely the people I was able to talk to who spoke from their heart, and we had open and honest discussions. So I'm confident, having put that effort into it, that the decision I'm about to make is in the best interest of our town. So that's what I'd like to say.
Okay. And I agree. I think as I said before, I think all the candidates are outstanding. I think 3 of them, to me, rose to the top. I liked Bill DeLibrio's planning experience, his legal experience, a lot of economic development. I talked to some people in Rhode Island. They said he was a very honest, sincere man. And I got that feeling at that meet and greet. I really did. Rich LaFawn, as Kevin said, I think the fact that he's been in a place for 17 years is a plus. As far as stability goes, I haven't heard anything negative about the job he has done in Carver. And again, Grady Miller impressed me. He's running was running a town down in Rhode Island that had a budget of $50 million, a population of about 16,000 that actually went up quite substantially in the summer. Again, I talked to some people in Rhode Island in those towns, and they had nothing but glowing reports to say about Mr. Miller. So it's a difficult decision, but I guess it's a good decision that we're faced with because we have 4 actually very good candidates. So I don't know if anybody wants to make nominations, or Kevin?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that the Board of Selectmen appoint Richard LaFawn as town manager, subject to successful contract negotiations.
I'll second that.
Well, why don't we want to do it nominations, and then if people, we can take a vote that way. That's how we've done it, I think.
Whatever you
in the past. Okay, so Rick LaFawn has been nominated. We'll say he's nominated. Any other nominations?
I'll nominate Grady Miller.
I'll second that. Any other nominations?
Yeah, I just want to make one comment too. In my discussions with the townspeople and department heads, each one of these candidates was spoken highly of, or was the #1 person for, in somebody's views, the whole thing. It wasn't that it was it was in the end, it was overwhelming, I think, but I just wanted to be known that all 4 candidates were spoken highly of by the townspeople, so thank you.
Okay, so we have, somebody make a motion to close nominations, I guess.
So moved.
Second?
In a second, any discussion on closing nominations? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so nominations are closed. We have 2 candidates at this point, Richard LaFawn and Grady Miller. So we'll take up Richard LaFawn first, as he was first. All in favor of Richard LaFawn?
Aye.
Aye.
That's 3. All in favor of Grady Miller? That's 2. So it appears to me as though Richard LaFawn, pending contract negotiations, and is the town manager. I'd like to make a motion that we make it unanimous, if that's okay.
I'll second that.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Okay.
Okay, I move we enter into executive session for the purpose of conducting strategies in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel, specifically the town manager's position, and not to reconvene to open session.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? If not, by roll call vote, Tom?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes,
Mike?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Thank you.
thank you.